Hey, dude. All right. Welcome to Supreme Commander. This is you, stunning UEF Commander in manly purple. So I thought I'd give the recording a try here. Excuse the dust. It's been a minute since I've had to do this. So let's go through some basic gameplay mechanics. How do we make this guy lay waste to battlefields, become a terror? Alright, so I'm going to start by clicking on my dude here. And you notice when I click on the commander, build interface opens up here. These three things down here, they're factories. So you have your land factory on the far left, air factory, naval factory. Obviously, no water on this map. Naval factory is not going to happen, but land and air, very important. Before we can do that though, actually, I take that back. Let's set one up first. So I'm going to click on my little land factory down here, and you'll notice there's already some wrecks. I was messing around with the recording settings. Fun fact, actually, if you place something over a pre-existing wreck, it builds faster. Fun fact. So let me do that. Commander's going to start work building this. And the factory, you can see my resources here depleting slowly. So I enter the game with a full mass bar and a full power bar, and you'll see these are getting depleted. So first order of operation after I get my factory built up, it's going to make some mass, I think. So I'm going to walk my commander over here. You notice there's this dark yellow circle here. This is my commander's build radius. So what I want to avoid is my commander walking all the way up to the mass point and building these things and then walking over to the other one. So if these things are within my build radius, you see if I queue up a mass extractor here, this guy, he's just going to turn around and build it. Fantastic. So I'm going to queue up one more. Okay, and notice though, if I build something outside of the build radius down here, he's going to walk all the way to it. By the way, what I built down here is a power generator. You'll need a few of these guys to really kick off the game. So nothing's being built right now, but as soon as I build, you see my power consumption goes negative, which means this is unsustainable. So we are going at the full rate for right now because I haven't run out, but soon enough it'll deplete. So let me queue up a few more of these. So click here. And by the way, if I want to queue something up after this is built, so there's no dead time on the commander, so I'm going to click, and rather than just clicking right here, I'm going to hold shift, click, click, and in fact, you can even click and drag if you want a whole line of these things. Alright, so I want to start off making a few power generators. My factory here has been idle for some time, that's no good. Building engineers is usually the first port of order, so I like to build maybe 4 of them. Queue up some other units, so maybe get a little raiding party here of a scout and a mech marine. The mech marine dies to tanks, but is really good for cleaning up engineers. So let's pretend that I have an enemy on the map here. He's probably doing the same thing over here. He's probably building up his base. He's probably going to want to expand, get this mass point and this mass point. Maybe I want to deny him from doing that. Little mech marine and scout raiding party. The scout for the radar, the mech marine for the for just a little bit of damage. It can be really strong for taking out enemy expanding engineers, but it does not constitute a good mainline force. So let's get these engineers to work on something. I'm going to queue up a mass extractor here, then a mass extractor here, and then maybe a few powers. By the way, if you don't see my mouse clicking down here, it's because I'm using the hotkeys. So S for mass extractor, F for power generator. You don't have to remember that. In fact, I definitely don't expect you to. But, you know, good to know for later. So queue up a mass extractor there, get some initial expansion out. Let's shift click here to get another one. And then let's also capitalize on this hydrocarbon power plant here. The reason you'd want to do this, if we look at the production and mass costs of a regular Tech 1 power generator, you can see on the far left, like over here, it costs, what, 75 mass to build and produces 20 power. This guy here, the hydrocarbon, costs 160 mass, so just over 2x the mass cost, but it produces 100 power. So at 2x the mass cost, this thing is worth 5x the energy production. The downside is you can only place them on these yellow squares here. There's only a few of them throughout the map. So that's these little lightning icons if I zoom in and out here, which by the way I'm doing with my mouse wheel. All right, what else do we want here? So we're good on power. Let's build an air factory. Yeah, by the way, our little raiding party is done here, so send them out. Maybe avoid these civilian structures, because if I zoom out on the map, there we go. These little icons with a plus sign here, these are point defense. They will tear your shit up. So let's go around these civilian structures, avoid them. And we'll just park our units over here where we think a expanding enemy engineer might come to build this mass extractor. We can blap them up. Obviously there's no enemies, so that won't happen. Meanwhile, over here, our air factory is done. Let's build a few scouts, because information is half the battle. Meanwhile, over here, factory's not producing anything. Let's rectify that, make a few mainline tanks. After that's done, never feels good to get bombed, so let's put a couple anti-air into the mix. And just in case we come across some enemy point defense, like we have over here, you can put a few artilleries in the mix. So you can see right now, my factory, now that it's building, it's consuming, and again, you can see it down here, it's consuming 3 mass and 15 power per second. That's doable. So, tell you what, let's build another factory or two with our commander. Our little NGs down here have done God's work, so let's send them to expand even more. So, yeah, by the way, for queuing up orders, the way it works is you place your first building, and let's say I want to place, 3 more to capture all of these mech spots. So I will queue this up, hold shift, and then click, 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 and then for good measure, let's put a factory here. And just in case someone decides to come raiding, let's get up a little point defense. So this kind of gets into advanced or medium advanced strategies here, but if enemy tanks come pouring through, this thing, it's got a good amount of health, but it's only going to be able to blap away maybe 5 tanks or something like that. However, if I come all the way to the right here, there are these little wall sections, all right? If I queue up wall sections around my point defense, the enemy tanks will hit the walls, not the point defense, because if I come over to the side, you can see the profile of the turret just comes above the wall sections. So little low-lying units like mainline battle tanks here, they will not be able to shoot over the walls, and so the walls will suck up all the damage while the turret's shooting, and maybe you can take on 10 or 15 tanks with this point defense now, rather than just 5 or 6 that it would have naked. Okay, so I think this is probably good for a start. Let's just show some basic scouting, then I will probably wrap up the video here. Build faster. Yeah, by the way, this little free cam thing I'm doing, if you hold the space bar, that's how you do that. So with my scout here, I could just control him directly, keep an eye on what's going on. I'm right-clicking, by the way, to give him orders. If I want to queue up some movement, I can, same thing, hold shift and right-click, that will queue up orders. And if I'm interested in just patrolling a general area of the map, I can right-click to send this guy over, then hold shift, press the patrol button, queue up a few orders, and now if I click on this guy and hold shift, you see he's just going to do that forever until he gets shot down or something. If I pause the game for a second, by the way, you'll notice the planes here, yeah, the planes here have 2 bars. The green guy is their health, the yellow guy is their fuel consumption. In fact, you can see down at the bottom here, he's got 7 minutes and 58 seconds of fuel left. When planes run out of fuel in this game, they apparently embrace the space magic. They don't fall out of the sky. They just move really, really, really slowly. Probably won't get into this now, but there are air staging facilities that you can build. Have the planes drop on there, refuel, get some of their health back, and then take off again. Yeah, we'll get to that later. But for now, I think this is pretty good. So I guess let's recap. This is your commander. He build buildings. He no build units. units good. So first port of order is to build a factory. Factory builds units, including engineers, which can also build buildings. In fact, let's do that now. Queue up a line of power generators with this idle buddy. All right. So after you build your factory, build a few engineers with it, as well as, you know, maybe some tanks, maybe some anti-air, maybe a raiding party. This is a really strong pair, you know, 1 and 1 or 1 and 2 is usually pretty good. While that's building, you want to take your commander, start building up your economy. I like to get 2 to 4 mass extractors first, and then maybe get, you know, 6, 8 power generators, build up a second land factory, build an air factory for air units, interceptors to kill any enemy bombers if you want to be an asshole, and then transport to quickly move your units around the map. Won't deal too much with air right now, though, because it's a little more complicated. These are your mainline tanks at Tech 1. They chonky. Yeah, I think that'll probably do it for now. We should probably cover the rest live or something, but hope you're having a good day, man. Hope this was some flavor of useful to see how the UI works. Yeah, take care.